Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory. Going to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Kakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to you alchemists out there pushing this truth with all honesty and sincerity by way of the highways and byways, going on the streets, teaching and preaching. This is your brother Nayap, and I'm back with another news update. This is for fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. And also, this is for educational purposes only. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
Well, just got home. It's been a long day. 7 o'clock now. Got to work at 7 o'clock this morning. It seems like the same cycle just keeps fucking repeating. And I'm still broke. Got paid today. I'm broke. How is it so normalized right now? Like I made a video earlier. I have mostly positive stuff to say. Mostly people are agreeing. But you got people on here like commenting like all kinds of stuff saying, oh, well, maybe you should, get into this, go into a union, fucking do this, do that, man. Fuck that, dude. I just want to fucking live, bro. I just want to survive, man. Like, that's all I'm asking. I should not have to be my own boss. Like, I shouldn't have to be a CEO. The CEO mentality is bullshit, dude. Like, the whole fucking idea built around it in America is fucking bullshit. If the whole slogan or whatever the fuck you want to call it is, oh, well, somebody's got to do it. Okay, well, if that's somebody, why can't they just fucking be able to get a livable wage and fucking survive, bro? Like, I cannot keep doing this, man.
Well, that was fast. The honeymoon period for the new pope is over. The new pope is being accused of being just like the other popes, turning the other way for SA. And not just once, for multiple cases in multiple countries. First in Chicago. He allowed James Ray to continue to live in the friary in Chicago after James had already been removed from ministering due to multiple allegations of SA against minors. He also didn't notify the heads of a Catholic elementary school half a block away about who was living really close to them. When he was in Peru, there were allegations that 2 priests had carried out SA against underage people. But apparently in both cases, he refused to open an investigation. And apparently the details of what happened were downplayed when they sent a report back to the Vatican. Well, as they say, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. If even half of this is true, it is extremely shameful. Pope Leo for not making a stronger stand for victims. You've just made the D3 list, a podcast about...
Man, it's happening. It's happening. Empty shelves. Look at that. They're at Walmart. I ain't trying to scare nobody, but I'm just saying. You do what y'all gotta do. Empty, man.
So he said the quiet thing out loud. The Mahdi has appeared apparently. He said he wants to unite the Muslim or the Islamic religion, Christianity, the Hindus. He said he wants to unite all of them. Remember, the Bible says that it will be a one world religion. And it seems like he's trying to appeal to all of these religions alike. He's trying to come to the Christians and say, no, Paul was a liar. He wasn't the actual prophet. I am the prophet. Paul was a liar. He's trying to appear to the Muslims saying, I am the Mahdi. I came to save you. He's trying to appear to the Hindus saying, no, hop on ship. We are all the same. We believe in the same principles, right? It's just you have it slightly wrong. Follow me. He is literally creating a one world religion right before our eyes, and no one seems to see it. The fact that he's trying to make Christianity and the Islamic religion be one, when we know for a fact that it is not one. It's completely different. This is strange times that we're living in because you don't see this day to day. Like, the 2020s have been crazy chaotic in comparison to the 2010s, and I think we...
Y'all, this is so funny and sad as heck at the same time. Y'all know the white lady that called the baby the N-word? Well, the Christian church, y'all have to open your eyes. The Christian church funded her fundraiser where she raised over $500,000, probably more than that. I think she was up to 800 and something. 800 and something. More than $500,000. Y'all, them churches are not for y'all. I'm telling y'all, them churches.
Well, breaking fuck the news. Pakistani defense minister has stated that India has left them no choice but to prepare for full-scale war. Now, whenever I report on stuff like this, everybody thinks I'm biased because I report on the Pakistani prime minister. He says a lot. Okay, there's a difference. We all know the basics of that India has declared war against Pakistan in a way because of the attacks that, the terrorist attack that occurred in Kashmir, where Hindu men were targeted. So this is all based around that. They really aren't saying too much other than this is what happened, we did do this, we did do that. It's kind of everything. Well, the Pakistani prime minister keeps making statements that this is a declaration of war. So if we are, in a sense, saying what the writing on the wall is, that Pakistan and India are now technically and theoretically in a full-scale war.
100 white South Africans are expected to arrive in the country out of 8,000 or so applications. How is this being received in the US? Are there concerns, particularly by refugee advocacy groups, for example?
Well, refugee advocacy groups, of course, find it utterly astonishing that a Trump administration that would close America's doors almost wholesale to refugees from all over the world, because that is, in essence, what President Trump has done in the weeks since he returned to the White House on January the 20th, would throw America's doors open for one group of people, Afrikaner farmers, based on a false statement that the president has made about the Expropriation Act. He argues that those farmers are being dispossessed of their lands without compensation. He also argues more broadly that white Afrikaner farmers are suffering human rights abuses at the hands of President Ramaphosa's government. And of course, the United States government chides President Ramaphosa for the position that South Africa took at the ICJ, accusing Israel and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of war crimes. But it is an extraordinary moment for the United States to be opening its doors to refugees whose processing time for transition to a new life in America has been fast-tracked to just 3 months, where the standard processing time has been 18 to 24 months, and that was before Donald Trump shut America's doors. I think it's fair to say that most Americans don't really know this is taking place, and it's curious that the government wants to send apparently this delegation of US government officials to Dulles Airport to welcome the first Afrikaners as they fly in, because that will certainly raise visibility of this within the United States. And it's not clear that the American public will necessarily back it. I mean, Republican Trump voters don't want anybody coming in. They want America's doors shut, and they certainly aren't particularly literate in the politics of South Africa. And Democrats, of course, will say, well, if you're letting white Afrikaner farmers into the United States, why are the doors closed to so many other deserving people who have applied for refuge in America? But it's an astonishing symbol of how low the bilateral relationship between the two countries has fallen to see when these planes are going to arrive, when these people are going to arrive, and what level of welcome they are provided by the Trump administration.
Simon Marks.
India and Pakistan has devolved in a way that it just doesn't make sense unless it was all contrived from the start. Because there's no way in hell that India would commit to possibly going to nuclear Armageddon over some bullshit. Yeah, it was bad, it was a terrorist attack, but you don't engage another nuclear power, especially one with all of the instability like Pakistan, in such a way, presuming that they are going to exercise the same restraint as other nuclear powers in the world. You don't do that unless you want a big war. So I'm quite certain that India indeed wants this thing to blow, all right? Now, we would be mistaken to extrapolate to the current conflict in Pakistan and India the restraint demonstrated by the Russians in NATO with respect to the use of their nukes. Pakistan has fewer options. It's a more unstable government. They have fewer people backstopping their military and their economy. The Russians have the Chinese, okay? And sure, the Pakistanis, to some degree or another, are playing both sides of the fence. But there's estimates, and these are just estimates by the same people who probably thought that the Russians were using washing machine chips and going to run out of missiles in the first few days of the war. But let's just presume, to err on the side of caution, that what they're saying is correct, and Pakistan only has a few weeks' worth of artillery shells. When the conventional munitions run out, Pakistan will have no other choice. India is, for all intents and purposes, the superior military. I mean, just in terms of sheer population and size and GDP and all of those things, they overwhelm the Pakistanis easily. Pakistan will be likely reduced if this conventional fighting, which has gone hot along the entire Kashmir contact line, if they continue this fighting, Pakistan will be relegated to using their nuclear weapons or doing some.
America have warned that Prime Minister Rodney and other European leaders could be the target of a Russian attack today while they attend a meeting in Kiev with Zelensky. Oh Lord, please hear my prayer. So Prime Minister Rodney, along with the leaders of France, Germany and Poland, have arrived in Ukraine, Kiev, with Zelensky to show a unity of the coalition of the willing. With the US warning this morning that Putin is feared to be plotting an attack on the Ukraine capital while the leaders are in attendance. And this all comes on the back of Prime Minister Rodney saying that Russia must agree to a full and unconditional 30-day ceasefire. What the fuck? He's demanding shit again. And he's saying that this 30-day ceasefire is essential to create peace talks. Really? Shut the fuck up. This 30-day ceasefire isn't about creating peace, Rodney. It's a tactical pause. A tactical pause by you, NATO and Ukraine. Because Ukraine are losing ground and getting their asses handed to them. One would be mistaken for forgetting that Prime Minister Rodney is the leader of the UK. He's more obsessed about how helping other countries. Countries, then supporting his own fucking country. Anyway, maybe Christmas will come early in May. Who fucking knows? For fuck's sake.
المطار استهدف يوم أمس من يوم 6 مايو بأكثر من 20 صاروخ أو أكثر من 20 غارة استهدف المطار، وكان الاستهداف استهداف مباشر وتدمير كلي لكل مرافق المطار.
ये अभी भी ब्लास्ट हुआ है एयरपोर्ट ऑपोजिट साइड पे, रनवे के ऑपोजिट साइड पे ब्लास्ट हुआ है और आग भी लगी हुई है। ये मेरी छत से नज़र आ रही है।
We now have a generation that believes everything we did by colonizing. Yes, it is true. They think everything about colonization was wrong. It wasn't. There were some terrible things, and there were some good things to come out of it. And that is about properly acknowledging your past.
Education.
Yes, completely.
Sanitation.
Transportation.
Yeah.
There was so much that we brought to communities. But that is. But you see, you're typical of what we're talking about.
No, I'm saying that colonization, the empire was wrong. It was wrong, full stop. That's, the things that Britain might have done.
But that's very much through your modern sensibilities, you might say that, because we wouldn't now routinely go into other countries.
It was a profoundly racist set of basically invasions of other people, where we subjugated people to our rule and sort of made them work for us. It was
put yourself in the shoes their countries work. But imagine yourself in the shoes of a 13-year-old boy hearing you say that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. What do they then? How do they then carry that through life?
Well,
in terms of who I am as a Brit.
But it's not about we had racist ancestors.
Say it, but I'm saying that we hear much more of that than we do about the benefits of that period of time.
Well, because I don't think there were benefits. I think that we have to be completely.
So you benefits to us.
I don't think there were.
There were benefits to us.
All of those countries did not, Jonathan. Those countries,
it absolutely does.
Those countries did not have money. They did not have the creativity. They did not have people in positions of power
Of course, they had
to do this.
creativity
No,
in
they
those
didn't.
countries. They just didn't live like Britain did. It doesn't make it worse. It just makes it different.
So it's okay to live without education, and it's okay to live without a transportation system, is it?
They did have education. It just wasn't our education system. They had language. It wasn't our language.
This cultural
medicine we brought to
precisely what we have.
Yes. I don't know why we're even.
I'm just saying, kids in school now are taught to hate this country. They're taught that it's imperialistic, it's racist, it's nasty.
I'm sorry. There is a difference between being honest about one's past, which is actually, I would argue, a prerequisite for patriotism, because patriotism shouldn't be about lying about your country. It should be about having an honest, full, open appraisal of the things that have been good in your past and things that have been bad. Saying that everything Britain has ever done have been brilliant, that's just a lie. It's not patriotic.
Don't we tend to hear more about the colonialism and the slave trade, but not the fact that we ended the slave trade and the Britain's enormous role in the Industrial Revolution, which was wonderful and brought work.
On the slavery thing, I think it is when people say that we were the first to end the slave trade. Okay, but we were also participants in it for a very, very long time.
So was all the world, Jonathan. So was the rest. Name me a country back in the 1800s that wasn't participants in the slave trade. That's what happened. And the biggest slavers are some of the black Africans themselves.
All I am saying is that Britain did not cover itself in glory for many centuries.
So South Africa's own government is even coming out today and telling Trump, if you want to take on these refugees, that's on you. But just so you know, none of them have been properly vetted. A lot of them have been involved in protests that are pro-apartheid. And on top of that, these guys are actually claiming that they're being persecuted for being white. I don't know if you know a whole lot about South Africa, where Elon Musk is from, but the apartheid just ended not very long ago. If you don't know what that is, it was mass segregation. South Africa's government also came out and added that it's really hard to be a refugee of persecution when you're amongst the most highest earners and highly educated in the entire region. But in my personal opinion, this kind of gives me remnants of Operation Paperclip, what the U.S. government did after World War II. They got a little over 1,500 German scientists and high-ranking officials from the military, Hitler's military, to come over to the United States so they could learn from them. No, I'm no mathematician, but 2 + 2 = 4. What Trump's been doing here in the United States as far as deporting individuals, they've all been brown people. And now he's more than willing to bring thousands of white people claiming they've been persecuted by brown people without even fully vetting them. The answer to this simple mathematical equation is Trump wants more white people in the United States. If it ain't white, it ain't right. And that's literally Trump's mindset. You can't prove me otherwise.
Many students told me today the job market is tough right now, bringing with it some stress about what happens after they turn the tassel.
It gets annoying, but I need to make money. I need a job.
Jamison Marshall began applying to jobs in the fall. He sent out at least 60 applications to only hear back from a handful. He started a new tactic on his job hunt.
They're not going to see just a resume online. Call them. Let them remember some sort of something. Once you start doing it, you call somewhere, they're not going to be mean to you.
And the job hunt is still on for Jonna Ronaldo too. She's only heard back from 3 jobs out of the more than 70 applications she sent in.
I took some steps and I paid someone to go over my resume and redo it. I'm hoping that helped. It's definitely just I don't have the experience needed, even with all the internships.
The U.S.'s largest electric grid has warned about severe power outages coming this summer. PJM Interconnection, the largest grid, serves Americans all the way from the Midwest to the East Coast, and they say that they do not have enough supply to meet spikes in demand due to high temperatures this summer. Think of it this way, the hotter the temperatures go, the more electricity that people use, and if things get too hot, people will need more electricity than the grid can supply. Now, the record demand on this grid happened in 2006, but now PJM is saying that they could expect higher demand than that in 2025. Now, it is easy to brush off a warning when the situation has not happened yet, but remember the chaos in Spain just weeks ago. A blackout during high summer would be devastating for many people, especially for vulnerable populations like the elderly. While we can hope extreme scenarios don't happen, hope is not enough. We need a better electric grid. And to those who've allowed the infrastructure to get in such a lousy state in this country, you've just made the D3 List, a podcast about dumb, desperate, and diabolical business decisions. Check us out.